You're on Car Talk with Nettie J, 7 p.m. That means an hour full of car topics. I am joined in the studio with Paul. What's happening?
Hello, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. And James from Establish. What's going on?
Hey, what's happening?
Not much at all. Tonight will be a bit of a fun one. We're going to talk about new cars that are like just about to come out or have just recently come out that we'd really like to drive. And European car parts. Why are they so expensive? Now, the reason why I want to bring this one up is you were there on was it Saturday or Sunday, James, when we were at work, and a lady came into work and she was like, she had a Renault Scenic, and she's like, every time I buy parts for it, or every time I go to the to her mechanic, it's like what did she say, like $1,400 minimum charge, and because it's an inverted commas special car. Now, I think she's being taken for a ride personally. But, you know, it's got me thinking that, you know, a lot of people are turned off European cars because the parts are, you know, usually a bit more pricier. But we'll get to that right after our first, midway through the show. First of all, I'll ask you guys how you guys have been anyway with your cars and, you know, your little journeys.
Yeah, it's going well.
It's going well?
Can't complain. I'm going to be dailying a Mikey soon, which isn't much fun. So
dailying a Mikey.
Yeah, going to be riding public transport. Got a new gig in the city, so car's going to be driving parked at the station, training it in,
club locking it. Yeah,
club locking it, the whole lot. Which may be a reason why I should buy something else, or
could be,
or like a daily and keep the MPS for the weekends and whatnot.
Dude, just buy like an LPG gas valve. You can park it anywhere, it doesn't matter, because you don't need to run.
Yeah,
they're like $1.50.
Just gotta wait and see what happens.
Yeah. How about you, Paul? How you been?
I've been fine. The car has been okay.
Okay.
There's always a bit of a good thing in a bad thing.
This is with the BMW?
Yeah, it's the BMW M135i.
Yeah.
The exhaust actuator broke down, which is a little electronic device, little electric motor in a box sitting at the end of the exhaust system, and opens a flap. That thing broke down. I got another one from overseas, put it in, still the same problem, but at the beginning when I just connected it up, it started to work.
Okay.
And I had it fitted professionally because I thought maybe I'm doing something wrong. The guy readapted it with the computer, and it's not working. So we're not really sure what's happening. I gave it some time. It's been almost a week, hoping maybe it will rectify itself because it's a European car.
Yeah.
So sometimes
computers wake up.
Yeah, computers wake up. So I'm not going to fix it for now. It drives okay, but we'll see what's going to happen.
Is it constantly open now, or is that?
Yeah, it's constantly opened.
Okay.
So for the listeners out there, what does that mean? It sounds louder?
It sounds louder. You probably have a little bit more power, but it's at the end of the exhaust system. Yeah. So I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I think it's just noise, basically.
That's just at the end of the back box, right?
It's after the rear muffler. Okay. Probably about 15, 20 centimeters before the exhaust tip.
Okay. All right. Cool. So in terms of getting it fixed, the tech obviously couldn't figure it out either.
I went to an independent mechanic, and the car is under third-party warranty, so this is why I go there.
Yeah.
And he seems like a guy that knows a lot about these cars.
Yeah.
So obviously the car is under warranty, but I paid for that part.
Yeah.
I got it overseas. In Australia, that part is about 280 Australian dollars.
Okay. Did you buy it new?
Yes.
Okay.
I got it from Poland. Okay, the same part. I gave them VIN number. It was 110 Australian dollars in Poland.
Jeez.
But exactly the same part. The part is made in Germany, which is next door to Poland.
Yeah.
And in Australia, it's 280 Australian dollars. How? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
We're going to get to this. This is the big why question that I'm gonna get to shortly towards the middle of the show.
Especially a $1,200 clutch cable.
Yes. Well, that poor lady. She was like, oh, you know, it's anything I get done to my car is like, you know, $1,400. Like, she's like, because they inverted commas special car. I'm like, at the end of the day, it's just a car.
Renault is one of the cheapest cars in Europe. This is why people buy Renaults, not because they look good or they drive really well. It's because they are cheap to run.
Yeah.
And I see no reason why the parts would be so expensive here.
Yeah.
So same as a Citroen.
Except for profiteering.
profiteering. Well, I think that's the big point of it. Like I know my partner's family, they've had Renaults and Mercedes, and they've had a whole bunch of different cars, and they don't really complain. But it's they know that they're paying that little bit of a premium, and like for example, they take their car to like a Renault specialist, not a Renault dealer, because it's just way more crazy. But in terms of parts. They've always been like, yeah, it's a little bit more than your standard car, but we don't mind. But for other people, they freak out when they say, "Oh, European car," not a good time.
Especially genuine service.
Yes.
I think they charge roughly about maybe $250 per hour.
Yeah.
Versus independent mechanic, which is let's say between $100 and $130 per hour.
Yeah, if that. So, like a basic service, like just an independent place is usually between. 130 to 150, like for filter, oil change, just basic checkup.
Yeah, it depends on the oil they use.
Yeah, as well,
oil.
exactly right. So it can range. But look, we got to get to our first break of the night. We're going to go to a song by FM Attack. The song's called "Images of You." We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Car Talk with Matty J. Still in the studio with Paul and James. So we are talking about new cars that we actually want to drive. For me, seeing there's so many different car companies and they're all trying to branch into certain areas, but the one area that all car companies are kind of really trying to get to is the SUV market because it's booming at the moment for stupid reasons. Everybody knows I hate SUVs in this show.
We all do.
The most pointless car on the road. But having said that, car companies do come out with cars that are quite interesting and make you say, hey, I wouldn't mind just give that a go and see what it's like. Now, for me, I'm seeing I'm seeing what basically Korea's doing to Japan, what Japan did to like everywhere else by introducing fun and cars at a reasonable price, whereas Japan are kind of like walking away a little bit from all that. So their latest two cars that they've just been released, actually the Stinger's on its way, but I'm going to get to that. The Hyundai i30N. Now, people reckon the i30 in general, just the base model, is like a Golf competitor, if not on par. Like they're that good now. But the N is like the first hot hatch, like proper hot hatch that come out of Korea. 202 kilowatts from the top spec one. Honed on the Nürburgring. Apparently got a really, really good chassis, independent rear suspension. And apparently from all reviews so far, really, really interesting and really good drive. It's kind of like a mix between a Focus ST and a Golf GTI, which is when I have driven a Focus ST, and I was a bit manic. But it's got apparently it's like the engine out of the ST, but the composure of the Golf is what I'm hearing. So I don't know. Have you seen much about that car?
I've seen photos of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about it. I know that it's got a limited slip diff that makes all the difference in a front-wheel drive car.
Especially in a front-wheel drive car, yeah.
Without limited slip diff front-wheel drive car, it's not worth anything.
No. And you had one in your MPS, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But standard diff in an MPS, like limited slip diff, it's not as good as an aftermarket
it's not like a fully open one.
It's not a fully open one, is it?
No, it's like a 1.8 way.
Okay. So
it gets limited slip diff in the straights.
Yeah.
But not
in the
even
corners?
then. It's not all the time.
It's not realistic.
But in corners, most of the time, it's just one wheel.
So, because I know like Quaife offer a update for that car, right?
Yeah,
so,
there is, but even Quaife is not that good.
It's not as proper, yeah.
Okay.
It's probably okay to drive, but it still feels like an open diff a lot of the time.
With the Mazda, it's really arguable because they have a lot of electronics that sort of limit what the diff can do. So in corners, you really can't use the diff unless you get rid of steering wheel angle sensor, torque limiting, and a few other things like the way that boost ramps on while the steering is turned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, seeing as that there is no more MPS around, I guess what other Japanese hot hatches are there? There's that's it.
Honda Civic. Apparently, the new Honda Civic is very, very good.
I forgot about that one. I should have put that one in my list.
And it's got limited slip diff.
And
they were announcing a 8.6 hatch, like a turbo hatch.
Really?
Yeah, there was a prototype about that.
A few months ago, I think.
Or a Subaru variant, something like that.
Because I know they had like a sportsback one, like a and it was like a concept that they made here in Australia.
86.
86. It was an 86.
Sedan or hatch?
Sorry,
it was like a hatch.
Hatch of station wagon.
It was like a hatch. It was. You know what it looked like? It
A
looked
longer,
Turbo.
bigger one.
No, it was the same length wheelbase. Just instead of the little boot, it just the back end curves right around. You know what it looked like? It looked similar to like those old Nissan X's with the big hatch on the back.
To me, it looked like a Velociturbo.
It looked very similar.
Just with a different badge and maybe running gear different. Yeah.
Maybe that's not the best car. Apparently they're good, but the looks of it is not for everyone.
No, like from what I've heard, like when I was at the track day, the guy and then in the bay next to us with the 86, he's like, personally I don't like the way it looks, but around the corners it's magic. So I guess you're getting function over form in that aspect, which is to be honest with you, what you want to know, like a race car and stuff anyway. So
a lot of the new cars, for example, I wouldn't be surprised if a Hyundai Veloster would be better on the track than Toyota because it's got more power, more torque, and it probably comes with wider tires.
Well,
so
see, having said that, there was a comparison between the Fiesta ST and the Toyota 86 ran a track. And it was a tight and technical track with a few straightaways, and the Fiesta ST smoked it. Absolutely,
yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, the Fiesta ST's got from the factory groupier tires, whereas the 86 has got like Prius spec tires, just for so you can go sideways everywhere.
As well.
Yeah, and obviously with the being a really small turbo, you get that response and torque really down low, which is really good. And having driven a Fiesta ST, they are as good as people make them out to be. So I can see why the people chose the Fiesta ST over the 86. But then again, some people don't like front wheel drive cars, and they prefer the rear wheel drive experience, being able to control the rear end and stuff. So I can see negatives and positives for both. But yeah, I mean that guy in the bay next to us, he finally put a good set of tires on his 86, and he was ripping lap times, like just sticking right through. Yeah, he had a set of semi-slicks on there. He was flying.
Yeah, apparently they have very good chassis. I've driven 86, but only around the block.
Yeah,
and I couldn't really push it, but it's a good car.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not doubting that. Yeah,
and it doesn't cost you $50,000 or $60,000. It's a lot less money than that. So
a lot of people say they don't have enough power though.
I mean, they are a bit underpowered, but having said that, they still go all right. Like, what are they, like mid-7s to 100?
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. So, I mean, and then that's...
for a boxer still, so...
Yeah, and they're naturally aspirated. You got to remember that, too, so...
But we live in Melbourne,
yeah.
So anything under 10 seconds is good.
Exactly right.
With so many police and cameras.
Yeah.
And, you just don't want to risk it.
Well, anyway, the Korean Brigade is what I've been calling this little bit, because Korea's really pushing their fast and in their new cars, which is really good because like Kia's kind of first range into like a warm hatch was the Ceed GT, which no one ever heard about.
Actually,
and that was a really good car.
I went to Europe and they had it in Europe a few years before we got it. And
right.
It had really good reviews in Europe.
Yeah, it got good reviews here too, but like no one bought them because I think everyone, it's funny.
No one knows what it is.
No one knew what it was.
Also, Nissan Dualis had really good reviews in Europe, and in Melbourne, in Australia, it didn't sell that well. It sold okay,
yeah,
but not that well. Duke is another one. Sells okay in Europe, but not very well here.
Yeah.
But that's not a good
The Duke
looking
R
car.
sold really well in the Middle East though.
Which one?
The Duke R.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, GDR running.
GDR running gear, yeah, that's right.
Made
Jeez.
only like 40 of them just for the Middle East.
Just for the Middle East, just
for Dubai. Yeah.
just to troll the crap out of people.
Because everyone loves those SUVs.
Oh yeah, jeez. don't even go. Don't even start me on SUVs today, James. Really don't.
All good.
No, I'm just mucking around with you. But yeah, definitely those two Korean cars. Like, this is me saying I want to drive a Korean car, but actually I'm really interested by them. I mean the Stinger's got 272 kilowatts on the top spec version with the V6 3.3 liter twin turbo, rear wheel drive, 8-speed automatic. We're only getting the automatic here, which is a bit of a bummer. We're not getting the manual. But
You should have it like an auto only.
Well, if
manual, like
it's. I mean, like, as we were talking about last week, some cars should be only, like, manual only. Like, for example, an 86 in an automatic is terrible. From all reviews, automatic 86
MX-5 should only be
manual. Yeah. So
the auto ones suck.
Yeah, it's that line of, certain cars should, certain cars don't. Shouldn't.
Like MPSs, they're all manual, and it has to be like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you look at Ford's old hatchbacks, they're all manual only. So, they, in the terms of like a fun car, it's engaging. As we were talking about last week, manual's definitely the way to go. We'll move on a bit now. Holden's finishing up production next month in October, but they have released and it's been reviewed the latest Commodore. So, having been in a current SV6 VF Series 2, I was quite impressed. They're actually a really nice car. They're actually very underrated car to be honest with you, because they're actually you've got one, Paul.
Yeah, I've got a Series 1 VF SV6 manual.
Yeah.
That's basically my wife's car, but I really enjoy driving it. And if I was to sell one of my cars, I'd rather sell the BM and keep the Commodore. And that's not because I like Commodores.
Yeah.
It's just that VF is a very, very good car.
It is,
and
yeah.
I know it's not going to break down.
Last weekend, I was in Adelaide for the wedding.
Yeah.
It's my partner's girlfriend's, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Her cousin's wedding. And the guy's got he's got a VF Gen 2 GTS. Like a 2016 model, and they're an amazing car, not just performance-wise, but he's even got the automatic. I think he's got 400 kilowatts at the wheels.
Yeah,
that's with supercharger, isn't it?
Supercharger,
that's the LSA. Yeah,
LSA, yeah, and that's very impressive for something that comes out of Australia. So,
did you hear about with the current GDS W1 around the track, beat the Nissan GDR, beat all these like other real performance cars around? I think it was around Wakefield or something. Yeah, it's
in Brisbane.
Yeah, no, it's up in New South Wales. I want to put the link to the page. That car is that good. It beat a GTR. And everyone's like, "Oh, GTRs can't lose to anything because GTRs are the best. GTRs are this GTR." Sorry, GTR fanboys, you lost to a Holden Commodore. But it is a masterpiece. That car.
My previous car was a R33 GDR.
I didn't know you had it.
I had a GDR R33. Really? Yeah, I had a GDR, and I have to say, look, GDR is not for a person that drives Commodores,
Yeah.
And I had a lot of different cars in the past, but GDR R33, even R32 or R34 is a really, really good car.
100%.
And it doesn't matter if it performs really well or it does take 10 seconds to 100. It is still one of the best driving cars, and just driving that car and sitting that car makes you feel like you are the best driver
in the world.
Yeah. So this is why I love GDRs. And it's a big car, very comfortable, but it's not too big.
That's what surprised me with the R33 GDR. A good mate of mine's got a Series 3 R33 GDR. It's so comfortable. It rides well. I thought it'd be stiff as anything, but this thing rides. It just glides over bumps. Plenty of power, and it's that was the first GDR I've been in. I'm like, this is bloody magic. This is fantastic
because it's a family car modified.
Yeah, well, it's a Laurel. It was based on the Laurel chassis, the 33.
Now, apparently, the R32 GDR was a race car that was designed for the street. So they made a race car and then they
took it back.
Yeah. However, with a lot of the cars, it's a normal car, family car, and then they make it into a race car.
I mean, that's what a W1 essentially is, yeah.
Yeah. However, the GDR R33 or R32, all GDRs are very, very good, and if you get one that doesn't have too many Ks, they are still very reliable cars.
I mean, he's had his one a while. It's been off the road for a few years, but he's going to bring it back on soon. But that car, strong, just a strong car. And he never had any issues with it. As long as you do regular maintenance, timing belt, this, that, and the other, you're pretty much set.
Mine was pretty stock, except for I had cam gears, intake, but intake doesn't make any more power on the GDR, but it just makes it sound a lot better. It had the boost restrictor removed, so it had probably about 190 kilowatts at the wheels, roughly, with stockish exhaust. And
was yours a Series 1 or 2 or 3?
Series 2.
Okay.
R33. Standard turbo, standard engine, and driving to work and back, which is through Pescoville Road in the northern suburbs.
Did you daily it?
Yeah, all the time,
that's
every
amazing.
day. And my wife really loved it as well.
Yeah.
Driving it every day to work and back, that GDR was drinking 12.6 litres for 100 Ks.
It's not bad.
It's like rotary town. That's pretty good.
Mazda will drink more than that.
Yeah?
Yeah. The GDR in the suburbs, driving it normally without pushing it, 12.6 litres for 100 Ks.
That's not bad at
all. The BMW that I have drinks 10.4 roughly for 100 Ks on the same stretch of road.
Yeah.
The MPS that I had was roughly about 10 when I got it brand new. Then I changed the program in the computer, fitted different tires. It was about 10.8 or 11 litres for 100 Ks.
It makes sense. On the freeway to Adelaide, 9 litres
that's
in
not
the
too bad.
MPS.
Well, Typhoon's about 14 around town.
And my wife's Commodore, roughly when you take it easy to work and back, that's manual.
Wouldn't surprise me, you probably get 10 out of that.
11.
11, yeah.
Roughly 11.
It's not too bad. It's a big car.
Yeah. It's very comfortable. The good thing about the Commodore, it's not that it's sporty or anything. It looks good, it drives okay, and it's very comfortable.
Comfortable, yeah.
Especially on the long road.
That was that was like the unique selling point about Australian cars. They're just big, comfortable cars, but they actually go around corners quite well. Like especially the modern day ones. Yeah. It's a shame that they ended the way they did, but having said that, I can't really praise a VF Commodore enough because I reckon they are a great car. So, but yeah, I had no idea you had a 33. I mean, you'd be spewing right now because the 33 prices are going nuts.
Yes, I am. But look, I was lucky to have it for a year basically.
Okay.
A friend of mine had a 33 GTR for 8, and I have driven his a lot. His one is modified, so it's not like I've only experienced it for 1 year. I've had long experience with GTRs, pretty much. I could say that.
What colour was it?
Silver.
Best
I know.
Yeah, it's the best.
Photo there on his phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see it during the ad break. But yeah, my mate's one's a Series 3 Silver V-Spec 2, I believe. And it's awesome car. That was the first GTR I ever went in, and I was shocked at how nice they are. Like,
but even
they're so civil.
Yeah, even if you get a GTS, which is not the same car but similar,
like a GTST.
Yeah, GTST.
Yeah.
It's still a very, very, very good car.
Yeah.
People, laugh at it that it's just wheel spins and goes sideways, but that's because that's how people drive them.
Yeah.
But friend of mine, look, I'm 42, and my friends are usually the same age as I am, so we got those cars when they were new.
Yeah.
20 years ago, and when you have driven one 20 years ago when the car was brand new, it drove really well, and a standard GTST.
Good.
Yeah, it drove better than the modified ones that I have driven.
There you go.
Yeah.
I guess modified, they're all played with, suspensions a bit, how you're going, stuff like that. Oh, well, see, that's something we've just learned. We've had our first GTR owner on the show today.
I told myself straight out, I was like, I won't get a 34 unless it's a GTR. But considering the prices of them now, like almost 200k for some of them.
Shut the gates, man. You can't touch.
I think the usual price for R34 would be at least about 70 or 80.
About 70 or 80 grand, yeah. But they've
special
just
editions
skyrocketed.
would be 200 or 100.
Like an NUR
Like
and
NUR,
stuff, yeah.
Or V-Spec
But
2
look,
NUR.
any GTR is good.
Yeah. Oh, they're great, and I've got nothing bad. I've never said anything bad about GTR. I personally love GTRs, but just to get the fanboys and the keyboard warriors.
Look, for people who have never driven one, or for people who will never be able to afford one, there is one negative thing about the GTRs. Okay, it's a really, really good car, but on the freeway, it doesn't really feel like a BMW or a Porsche or an RX-7. It still drives really, really well, and it's stable, but it doesn't give you that 200% confidence like those other cars.
Really, at freeway speeds?
Yeah. At, let's say, 200 or 180 or 160, it's very good. Doesn't matter what suspension you have, doesn't matter what tires. It's really good in corners, extremely good in acceleration, the best feel.
Yeah.
However, high-speed stability, it's probably very, very good, but as a driver, those other cars feel better.
That bit better. Yeah.
It's not the GT. That's the bad thing about the GTR.
You don't have enough power after 180-ish?
No. GTR's got good power. That's no problem. It's just high-speed stability.
Yeah.
Like on Autobahn, for example, those German cars, even including the RX-7,
like rocks.
It just feels
solid,
extremely
solid.
stable.
Yeah.
Extremely stable. When I had a RX-7 that was modified, you could take your take your hands off the steering wheel at 200 and close your eyes, and you would trust that car.
Yeah.
But with other cars,
not so much.
Even the VF is very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good, and the BM is very good as well. But with GTRs and all the other cars, it just depends.
Now, before we move on, because we're about halfway through the show now. The Tesla all-wheel drive system. Did you really rate it, or did you think it was a bit? Because a lot of people say, oh, it only comes in when you're getting slip and stuff.
It's true. You have to watch out.
Yeah, you have to watch out how you drive it. Yeah.
Look, R32 and R33 GTRs, they have different variations, like different series of the Tesla all-wheel drive system, and even R34 is even more advanced. However, with any GTR like that, R32, 3 or 4, the back always slides out first.
Yep.
And it depends if you chicken out and back off, or if you keep it planted.
When you keep it planted, it brings itself back.
But rear-wheel drive, GTR drives like a rear-wheel drive car, and then when you have problems, front wheels come in and pull you out of the corner, or most of the time out of the trouble.
Yeah.
How does it realize the problem?
Well, it notices the slip. That's what the system's got. It's got
The diffs.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird how it notices the slip. So it realizes you're in a slide, and then but if you back off, it's not going to do anything. It's when you put your foot down, it notices that there's grip. It's the back end. The wheels are spinning. So then it sends all power to the front. Well, not all power, but it sends power to the front, so you can get traction. And
What about hikers? Do you rate it?
well, I guess it's just all-wheel steering. So I mean, yeah.
Do you think that causes your issue of 200
stability?
Ks? Yeah.
Stability. Look, I haven't driven a GTR without that, with that disabled, so I can't really compare. But this is only very minor problem. It's not even a problem. It's just I've mentioned it for people who can't afford it.
Yeah.
So at least they think I can't afford GTR, but it's not that perfect and it's got that issue. So I don't want one.
So not everyone can be Paul Walker.
I still want one.
Yeah. Look, we're going to move on because we're going to get to our next break of the night and come back to Euro parts. But I'd really like to see what the new Commodore drives like. Because it being an all-wheel drive car, obviously this is going to be the first fully imported Commodore. So it's basically based on the Opel Insignia. So
I mean, parts are going to increase in price too.
Yeah, I'd think so. Maybe I'm not too sure. We'd have to suss that out.
But we had all-wheel drive Commodores here 15 years ago.
We had the Coupe 4.
Yeah, it was fitted with
Adventurer.
Yeah, that's what it was. And
so yeah, it came out on a few Crewman as well.
Crewmans,
you can get it, yeah.
So a few people are still missing it.
Those lifted Commodores.
Well, the Coupe 4 got mixed reviews when it first came out, but we'll get to that a bit later. Probably not on this show. But yeah, I definitely want to see what the new Commodore's like, see how it compares to a VF, because a VF to me is a really, really good car, as we mentioned before. So I'd really like to see what that feels like. And my last pick of the night would be for the new Ford Ranger Raptor. I don't know if you guys have seen like the videos and stuff about that. So it's rumored that it's going to have the Raptor out of the F-150's 3.5 litre twin turbo EcoBoost engine, or it could have an updated version, like more powerful version of the 5-cylinder diesel, which will be interesting because Tyrone, a friend of the show, his Rangers, they're great cars, they're awesome cars. That with over 300 kilos would be a bit of fun. And race shocks and everything, which will be really cool. So you'll be able to go on little jumps and stuff. But yeah, you got any cars you wanted to see? Because I know you wanted to drive a Mustang. You were telling me during the break.
Look, I've seen a lot of them on the road. I think they've become a very, very common car, but I haven't driven one. And I rang dealership a couple of times. They didn't have anything in stock for me to drive.
Really? Well, if I know some dealers have got some cars in stock now. So
manual.
I'm not
V8.
too sure. Well, probably EcoBoost automatic.
A car that probably no one wants.
Yeah, that's probably why. What about you, James? Any car in particular?
So just during the break, I said I'd like to test drive like a Lotus,
some
sort of Lotus. Just because, why not, man?
Why not? Yeah, well,
rear engine, rear drive.
Yeah, you're a big fan of
Yeah, friend of a friend has got a Lotus Exige, which is one of the latest one, which is basically
that's with the supercharged 4-cylinder.
No, V6. Camry engine. Sorry, Orion.
Orion, yeah.
Toyota. With Toyota engine.
No, doesn't that come in the Evora?
Evora is less racy.
Okay.
Like more family oriented.
So, yeah.
But the Exige is based on Elise, but with everything racing basically.
Exige is the newer one.
No, Exige is like the performance version of the Elise.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, that's what it is, yeah.
So,
with longer body, wider body.
They still make them now, don't they?
Yeah.
They just
And that's got V6 Toyota engine with supercharger.
Yeah.
Very low boost, manual.
They go good.
Some of them I remember had 2 litres or something.
1.8's the old they had the lift engine out of the Corolla Sportivo.
What did you call it? The motor F20 or something?
That was also Exige.
Yeah, Exige.
Exige, but older one.
The previous
just
model.
cheaper.
Yeah, cheaper. Like 40 grand or something.
Nah, man.
Brand new.
Brand new, no way.
I think they were 120.
Now they're like early 2000 model ones.
Early ones, yeah. They're a little bit less money. They're more of a track toy than anything else.
Yeah.
I find, but
Actually, that's what I thought about that current Exige.
until you went in it.
Yeah, I went in it, and we went for a drive for about an hour, and that was around Melbourne, Mount Dandenong area,
Yeah.
a lot of hills, good corners at night, and that Lotus impressed me a lot.
Yeah.
It was one of
Insane?
insane. Like you would think that when you buy a Lotus like that, it's only designed for racing and it will be very uncomfortable. But me coming from normal cars that went modified, this Lotus felt like a car that you can drive every day, except for that it was hard to get in and get out.
Yeah.
But because I'm light and not very heavy, I can easily get in and get out. And the seat is doesn't have much padding.
Okay.
If you took that Lotus, right, and then took an MX-5 and applied somewhat, similar mods, will it be the same?
I think the Lotus will be better.
Yeah.
The Lotus look, I don't like Toyota because the Toyota doesn't have anything that inspires me that much. And the V6 engine out of Toyota is not good, probably.
No, it's a good engine.
It's a good engine because they put it in the Lotus.
Yeah.
But that V6 with supercharger in the Lotus
Just goes.
sounds insane.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how fast it is.
It's right behind your head too.
It just sounds so good. That supercharger whine, it just so racy.
Well, that's in essence like a TRD Orion, right? There'd be the same 2GR V6, FE V6 with just a supercharger bolted on, which is what they had, and they sounded good.
But the best thing about the Lotus was the suspension.
Yeah.
It was. I couldn't believe it how good they got it. It was so comfortable on the street. However,
So planted.
yeah, so planted.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you look at it, the Lotus is the base for the Hennessy Venom GT. With some extra,
There you go.
Oh,
front and rear end.
Look, I'll tell you later.
So we gotta go to our next break, and we'll continue this right after this. You're back on CarTorque with Matty J. Still in the studio with Paul and James, but James and Paul, Paul and James, doesn't matter. Look, we'll move on because we're running out of time for the show. But European parts, why are they so expensive? I mean, you reckon it's greed? And I'm on that train. I reckon it's a big greed train because parts shouldn't be as expensive as what they make them out to be.
It's profiteering, greed, nothing. No one wants to wait 10, 15 years before they get rich.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to do it in 5 and enjoy their lives.
Yeah, and I completely agree. Look, I had a mate I used to work with at my other retail job, and he had a he had a Peugeot 206 GTI, not a 180 or anything, just a GTI, and he's like, I'm like, how is it on parts? Like just general chit chat with him, and he's like, oh, yes, actually it's cheap as. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, everyone complains about European cars, expensive parts. He's like, but it's where you go, you get screwed. He's like, I buy all my parts from overseas. He's like, I get it shipped here. I get it shipped to my door cheaper than 20-30% cheaper than when he buys it for, here in Australia. And he's like, filters and stuff are like nothing over there.
Yeah.
And he's like, why would I pay a premium here when I can get it delivered to me? I just have to wait like a few days and I'll have it.
Even if he was to pay tax on a lot of the things from overseas, it will be still a lot cheaper than, for example, that actuator. It's $280 here. In US, it's about between 90 and about 100 American dollars.
Okay,
for the BMW. Yep. Why is it $280 here? If you supply a thing like that for $280, it should have a lifetime warranty. And if it breaks down,
it should come made in gold.
And if that thing breaks down, I'll be very embarrassed to sell a part like that, for $280.
I mean, you get people saying, "Oh, we're so far away here." Things. It's BS, man. It's crap. Honestly, it is the biggest load of crap, and people get taken for a ride. And the reason why people are saying European parts are so expensive is because they just say, "Here's my car, fix it," and for example, they take it to a dealer or to a specialist, inverted commas. They're going to be like, the parts are expensive for these, and this is what it is, and they'll just pay it because, and they'll be like, they'll pretty much complain and moan, oh, the parts are so expensive because it's European, yada yada yada.
I don't think European is the only one that suffers from this. So just
No, I reckon Japanese cars as well.
Jap cars. So I had to order the pivot shaft seal for my car,
Yeah.
gearbox, right? Through mates rates, I got it at $9. That's like someone that works at Mazda and got me like a good trade price. The retail, it was costing like $18 for a seal that's like this big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very expensive. Even gearbox oil for the BMW, I think it's about $65 per liter. In
Hey,
US,
what?
In US they sell it for I think $20
Yeah.
per liter.
There you go.
Redline.
No, look, the BMW reckons this is a lot better than Redline, but I think, in my opinion, the Redline is a lot better oil than anything that BMW puts in. Apparently, BMW puts Shell.
Yeah, okay, well, there you go. Well, at the end of the day, bit of consumer advice from us three. Research what you got to buy because you can get it cheaper. And I think that's the big misconception about European cars and even
We see this all the time working.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
100%.
Because we see it in as we work in an automotive part shop that we can see the markup people have. We can see the prices even online and stuff. Just do your research. It's the biggest bit of consumer advice we can give because if you don't do your research, you're going to get screwed big time.
Look, I've noticed that the tire prices started coming down a little bit.
Okay.
It's not as expensive as what it was before.
Yeah, but when I got the set of tires for my car, they were like $340 each, and I managed to pick them up because I went around to a few people I knew, and I managed to get the same tire, brand new 260.
Apparently, Michelin has bought out the rights for the rubber plantation for the next 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, ahead of time.
Most of the tires come from either Japan or they come from somewhere in Asia. Anyway,
Asia, yeah, that's right.
Well, Germany make tires still as well.
yeah.
It's only the premium.
The premium
yeah.
premium ones, yeah.
And the premium, so Paul was telling me about a slick that he bought from Japan.
Yeah, that was a Dunlop made in
Dunlop.
Japan.
Yeah. Was that a good tire?
Like
It
$400
was.
a tire.
Yeah,
Wow.
I picked it up for 300 fitted, but it was normally close to 400, 225, 45, 18, and that was Dunlop Direza.
Like was it a semi? Or was
It was quarter.
Okay.
You couldn't buy it from a normal tire shop. I had to go to Stucky's,
Okay.
which is a place that sells
Specialist.
Yeah, specialist. Yeah. So it was fitted into an MPS. It was a very, very good tire, especially when it warmed up.
Yeah.
Even in the wet, it was fine, but on cold, it wasn't that good.
Wasn't that great, yeah.
Normal performance tires are probably performing better when they're not warmed up than that
Of course, yeah.
slickish tire kind of.
Because you got to get some heat into them.
Yeah. But if you got heat to it, it was a very, very good tire, very sticky and very confidence inspiring.
Yes.
So I go off there. So stamp duty. Do you think it should stay or go?
For what in terms of parts?
So Holden's shutting up shop next month.
Yeah.
You're saying? And I believe stamp duty in Australia was only here to save local or like
With the tariffs and everything.
Australian cars and whatnot. So similar to the gentleman's agreement back in
Dude,
the early days.
it's not going to happen. You know why? Because the government's too greedy here,
Yeah,
and they're going to be like, you know what? We'll just change our minds. It's for the good of the country and the economy. Well, we're going to keep our astronomical price ranges, and they've tried to stop personal imports and stuff because you can, for example, you can buy. This is how stupid this country is in terms of things like a Jaguar XFR. Or like a top was it a top of the range Jag? It's like a $200,000 or like $80,000 car here. Overseas, like in Europe, it's like I think it's £60,000. So what's that? That's
Brand new.
Brand new.
Let's just say 100 grand.
120-ish grand max, yeah. Why? It's crap just because it's coming from overseas and stuff. It's stuff like that. That's what really
What
gets
is
me.
something about personal import. You can own it.
Yeah,
overseas for 12 months or something.
you can actually just buy the car there and bring it here. Like that's what they're trying to make here now.
Is it?
Yeah, it was all over, but they're trying to stop it because they're going to realize we're going to lose.
That happened at the start when the first R35s came out. You could buy the Jap version. You bring it here, and then they'd be like, "No, you can't drive it on the road. It's race use only. Like you can't register the car because
What?
apparently you didn't buy it through an Australian dealership." So a lot of early 2009 GDRs you'll see that might be on car sales still aren't registered. The whole thing, like the whole interior is Japanese, and they use it just on the track.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it's you know what it's called? It's called greed.
nothing else.
Nothing else. And I think that's why, a lot of people are getting turned away because there are some great European cars out there and they're getting turned away. Oh, European parts prices are going to really, screw me big time.
I mean, you even got the Fords that are made in Europe.
Yeah.
The parts are relatively, okay.
On some. Like, for example, with an XR5 Turbo, my friend had, for a globe for it, because I had some special globe, he had to pay like $50 just for a taillight. Yeah, dead set. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. And I looked it up, and sure enough, it was $50.
So what about paying $120,000 to import the Jag?
Yeah, no.
I think it's about maybe $4,000 to import a car in a container.
Yeah.
Roughly maybe $4,000.
Plus customs and everything. Yeah. But having said that, like an XFR, you can buy second hand. Like that's 3 years old for like $60,000. That's the depreciation, and that's how much the car should be worth. Like
in Australia, $60,000.
Yeah, well, at $60,000 off worth, like you can buy a 2 or 3 year old one for $60,000.
That means I can bring my Koenigsegg over.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I'll just go bring my FXX over as well, and and have that to play around with. Oh, jeez. What
mind the McLaren F1.
Yeah, I'll go get an F40. Yeah.
F40. There's a few of them floating around the UK.
There is.
Or around Europe.
I'll go buy an LFA while I'm at it as well. Just get out my checkbook, Paul. What do you think?
Oh, look, anything is all right.
Anything is all right, he says. Well, look, we have to leave the listeners with some sort of consumer advice because we don't give much consumer advice in this show. But if you
buy a Benz,
buy a W124 1989 260E, and you will never have any issues. Jeez, I could go on about that car anyway.
Any older car is all right.
That's right.
Look, people buy new cars because they think they are a lot better, and in some ways they are a lot better. But in just driving pleasure, they're not any better. And when those complicated cars will be 10, 15 years old, things will start to break down, and no one is going to fix it because this country is so expensive in labour that no one is going to spend time fixing those cars. So if you're buying a car for $100,000 or $200,000 now, in a few years, the car will be worth $30,000, and if the transmission breaks down in it,
it's a throwaway car.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and because when the parts are stupidly ridiculous here, that's why. And in the labour costs, it's just like, well, what's the point? Just on to the next one.
Unless we're going to export those cars to a country where the labour is a lot cheaper. And maybe they can sort of fix them and keep it for themselves. Otherwise, with us, it's not worth it. This is why a lot of the old cars now are going up in price, because you can actually work on them and enjoy them.
Yep. And you get a bit more driving pleasure because they're a bit more raw, not computer generated as computerish, I should say. Look, we are out of time. We don't have time for the quiz because it's a bit
speed round.
All right, because we still got like 3 minutes. Who wants to be in it? Quickly, somebody, put your hand up. Come on.
You do it, Paul, man. You're never on the show.
Okay, I'll do it.
All right.
But I'm already embarrassed.
Well, this is the quick version of the car quiz. Question 1: AMG today released their first supercar. What was it called?
It's the new.
This guy giving him a hand.
Is it F1?
No. It's called the Project One.
I may have heard of it, but. Look, I wouldn't have guessed it.
Question 2. The Mazda Familia GTR used what type of engine?
1.8 turbo.
1.8 turbo, also known as the BPT. I'll pay that, yeah. Question 3. The new Holden Commodore will have the model code what?
You can pass if you want.
I don't remember.
Don't remember? No good?
No good.
ZB.
Yeah, I wouldn't have remembered.
That's all right. Question 4. The new Mustang GT350 has what size engine displacement?
Slightly bigger than 5 litre.
It is.
I think 5.2.
It is 5.2. Flat plane crank as well. Question 5. The BMW i3 has how many cylinders?
It's an electric car, isn't it?
It's a half electric.
Half electric. Look, I'm guessing 3 cylinders?
Nah, 2.
2.
2, yeah. Sorry, Paul.
I gave them too much bonus.
2.
The Subaru Brumby is called the what in the USA? Do you remember the little,
no idea.
The little utes?
Yeah, the old ones. No idea.
They're called the Brat.
I would never guess that.
Question 7. True or false? This vehicle was never released in Japan. The Brumby.
Probably true.
It was never released there. It was an export only. Question 10. The Evo 10 Mitsubishi had an optional dual clutch transmission. What was it called?
No idea.
SST.
Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Question 9. The new Toyota Camry, which will be released in November, will bring back what engine option?
Sorry, the new
Toyota Camry.
No idea. I think in a Corolla they're gonna use 1.2 turbo, but would it be the same in a Camry?
Nah, they're gonna use a V6.
Okay.
And question 10. The original GTSR Commodore was only available in what color? What was it?
Yellow.
That's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not bad. It was a bit of a hard one tonight. Look, we got to finish up the show. Thanks for listening to the show. We'll be back next week at 7 p.m. If you've missed the show or want to catch up on any of our other episodes, jump onto our Facebook page, CarTorque with Matty J. That's CarTorque, TORQUE with Matty J. We have the link to our Shan Engine page, which has all our episodes. We're also on iTunes, so just search us up and subscribe, rate, and review so we can go higher on the iTunes rankings. Follow our Instagram, MattyJ_CarTorque podcast. Thanks, guys, for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.
This is professional radio, gentlemen.
And it's front wheel drive.
Scotty, have you got anyone you want to thank?
Just myself.
And now we do the after hours. Dun, dun, dun.
Gentlemen, what would you go for?
Dacia Sandero.
Okay, and because it's not a supercar.
But it is.
It's not.
Automotive perfection comes in the form of two letters, A and U.
Long live my LTD!